Hello everyone and welcome back to Fallout 76, where today we're going to experience another of the many passively told, but still highly emotional stories that you can find in the game. This is one that's been there since the beginning, but it's not attached to a quest. Nothing will point you to it, nobody's going to hold your hand through it, and you're not going to get a special reward at the end. The journey and the story itself is the reward, which is something I really appreciate. The story is told through 6 holotapes that you can find around the wasteland. Most players will probably find a few of them, some intrepid explorers will find them all, but few will experience them in order, effectively following the ghost of this character as she descends away from her humanity. This is the story of Enola Walker, and it begins with a holotape that we find on a barrel at Mac's farm in the Cranberry Bog.
This is Enola Walker. Don't know if anyone will hear this, but life finally took the last thing I had left. Figured I should leave something behind. I lost Joan in '77 and the kids in the drowning, but I had my damn dogs. It's bad enough that beast tore up the homestead, ruined everything. I could have rebuilt, but it's not worth it without my boys. So, if you find this place, I'm willing it to you. Just let anyone listen to this tape and they'll know. I took the last of the good chems for the bites, but the rest is yours. The last thing I'm gonna do is hunt that ugly beast down and kill it before I go. I hope you have a good life here. But that monster flew off towards the steakhouse, so maybe avoid that area. Unless I turned it into a fucking crater.
And that's how we're introduced to Enola Walker, a woman who seemingly has known little but tragedy. She lost someone close to her during the Great War in 2077, then lost her sons in what she called the drowning, which I think we can assume is the Christmas flood at Charleston, caused by the region's raider groups years after the war. Now we hear that she's been attacked by some kind of flying beast which killed her dogs. It must be a Scorch beast. And with nothing left to lose, she's going to track it down and kill it, even if she dies in the process. She said that the beast flew off toward the General's steakhouse, and if we explore the guardhouse near there, we'll find her second holotape.
It's still flying south. It's like one of those Scorch beasts the Thunder was fighting off, but looks strange, bigger. Never seen one up close before. Looks pregnant, but maybe she's just full. These dogs kept me sane longer than makes sense, so they're getting a proper send-off. You hear that, you monster? I don't know why I'm recording all this shit. It helps with the disorientation a bit, I suppose. That chems didn't help me none, neither. Skin's peeling and my eyes won't stop bleeding. I reckon that if this is it, then I'm gonna make it count. Alright. I'm gonna shove this backpack full of explosives down that Scorch beast's throat as an after-dinner mint. You have a good day, whoever you are out there. A better day than me, at the very least.
As she's tracked the Scorch beast, Enola has told us a few new things. She's described the beast as bigger than the average Scorch beast with a large belly, speculating that it's pregnant. It sounds like she's been attacked by and is following the Scorch beast queen, not just some average monster. Regardless of the nature of the beast, her goal is clear: get eaten and detonate a bag of explosives on her way down. She also talks about how she's disoriented, her skin's peeling and her eyes are bleeding. She's clearly been infected with what we now know is the Scorched Plague. It's only a matter of time until she dies, or loses her humanity altogether. It seems that she can sense that coming on, and making these recordings is perhaps helping her to hold on to that just a little bit longer. If we continue to explore to the south, eventually we make it to the abandoned Bog Town, where just outside of the Red Rocket, we'll find a third holotape.
Joan always wanted to move to this shit town. Sorry if you found this and you live here. Mostly because you live here in this abandoned shit town. Don't mind me. I'm just mad that big Scorch beast won't slow down long enough to just eat me in this big bag of bombs. At least she hadn't left me in the dust already. Although she could have. Oh, maybe I'm just a snack for later. Or she took a bite of me just for the taste. Too much salt, huh? Well, makes no never mind to me, as long as I can get close enough. No, she definitely knows I'm following her, just doesn't care. She circled back just now, like she was looking for me. Oh, I'm coming for you, even if you go halfway to hell, even if this is a game to you!
Enola doesn't have a whole lot to say here, but we do learn a few things. It seems to her that the Scorch Beast is toying with her, waiting to eat her until it's more convenient. But we know how the Scorched Plague works. It's really just watching over her until she's fully consumed and part of the Scorched Hive mind. But mentioning how Joan always wanted to move to Bogtown shows that Enola's still holding on to her humanity, at least for a little while longer. As we continue south, we'll eventually make it to Watoga, where sitting on a stage is Enola Walker's fourth holotape.
She finally stopped long enough to maul a mirelurk, but didn't eat the damn thing. Not like she did my dogs. She just chewed it up and spat it out just like she did me. like we're a chocolate sampler or something. I got pretty close before she took off again. Yeah, I swear she's got no eyes in that great ugly cauliflower-looking head of hers. She's staying to the side of Watoga instead of going in. Maybe she doesn't like the taste of tin cans. The mirelurk and myself are just following after her wake like a couple of ducklings. I think I'll call him Dave. Dave doesn't seem to care none about attacking me. Ate up his own nest like a hog in the pantry, though. I mean, I can even touch him, and he doesn't do nothing but stare. I found some more cams, but it's getting hard to keep going. My eyes and ears are bleeding, and I'm hearing and seeing things that aren't there. Hell, I'm not sure that Dave is really here. Except when I'm downwind of that stink. Nobody's imagination is capable of that.
With this holotape, we learn quite a bit more. Enola describes the Scorch Beast as having no eyes and a cauliflower head, features that are unique to the Scorch Beast Queen. She also mentions how it attacked a mirelurk but didn't eat it, only to have it follow her south with no interest in attacking her. It did apparently eat its own nest, however. The mirelurk, which she named Dave, has been infected with the Scorched Plague, just like Enola. It's now part of the Hive mind and is aligned with any other creatures that have been infected, whether human or otherwise. Enola also complained that her own condition was getting worse. It's also interesting how she mentioned that the Scorch Beast avoided Watoga, joking that maybe it didn't like the taste of tin cans. More likely, it simply knew that there was nothing alive there, nothing to infect, so why bother with the place? As we continue south, we'll eventually find a makeshift camp between Drop Site V9, the Glass Cavern, and Fisher Site Prime. This is a very dangerous area. It's absolutely swarming with scorched and scorch beasts that we'll need to kill off before we can take the time to listen to the tape in safety. Remember, before you go on this little exploration mission yourself, when you get to this area, it is designed for higher level players, so be careful. Once we have the area cleared, we can safely listen to Enola Walker's 5th holotape.
I think everybody's dead in Watoga. Aside from the bots. I'm dead too. Just too dumb to stop walking and breathing. At least we got each other. Right, Dave? It's hard to think straight, but I saw her circling over this pit 1 minute and gone the next. My guess is she went in. What do you think? Dave is following me now that the Scorch beast went below, but he is about the worst replacement dog I've ever had. I have to try to find my way down there. I have to keep up with her. If you find this and you don't know well enough, you need to get the hell out of here, Joan. And I'm not kidding with you neither.
In this holotape, it becomes clear that Enola is losing her grip on reality and her humanity. She's still holding on to some of her personality by cracking jokes about Dave, but clearly she's no longer got full control of her mind. Perhaps she's delusional, mentioning Joan, the person she lost during the war, as though she might be listening to the tapes, or perhaps we're getting some insight into Enola's mind. Maybe these tapes aren't really meant for any random stranger walking by. Maybe they've always really been a way on some subconscious level for Enola to feel connected to the person she lost all those years ago. With all that said, we also learned that the Scorch beast she'd been following disappeared into the ground. It must be the Scorch beast queen, and she must have crawled back into Fisher Site Prime. Enola has enough of her mind left to stay determined and to follow the monster underground. To find her final holotape, we need to make our way through the glassed cavern. It's an abandoned mine, one where the now infamous ultrasite was discovered in the years before the war. After winding our way through the tunnels, pods, and old mining rigs, fighting off countless Scorched along the way, and a Scorch beast toward the end of the mine, we find an elevator that leads out. But not far from there is Enola's backpack and her 6th and final holotape.
Had to drop my bag. It's too heavy. All this for nothing. He couldn't even avenge my boys. It's not alone down here. There's smaller ones like it, like me, like Dave. They don't do nothing but stare. They're waiting. They're waiting for me. My skin's bursting. Burning tight like a shroud. I miss you guys. This can't. We together. Never.
And with this final holotape, we learn Enola's fate. She was consumed entirely by the Scorched plague. She laid down her bag of explosives, saying it was too heavy. Or maybe she had just lost control of her mind and the desire to fight. She also mentions how she couldn't even avenge her boys, who were lost during the Charleston flood, not killed by the Scorch beast. Those were her dogs. But that's the point here. None of this was about avenging her dogs or petty revenge. Her quest was all about avenging everything and everyone that she'd lost. It was an illustration of the loss, devastation, and powerlessness that so many people must have felt following the Great War. In a twisted kind of way, this is almost a happy ending for Enola. After so many years alone in the wasteland, bottling up her anger, regrets, and fear, she had found a new home where she would, in fact, as the familiar words say, never be alone again. While she lost her humanity, her story makes me wonder if maybe that wasn't some kind of desperately needed relief. There's another reason that this story is important. It's here to remind us that the Scorched aren't just mindless zombies that exist solely to be killed. These are in fact people, real people, who are afflicted with a disease. They're not evil, they're not malicious. In fact, many of them probably suffered from immense emotional trauma. As necessary as it may be to kill them, as dangerous as they've become, this story is here to remind us that everything isn't always black and white. There may be just a little more going on behind the curtain. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of the story. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, leave a like or a comment, and follow me on Twitter. There's always a lot more to come, and I do hope that I see you all next time.